Welcome to the Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Refracted Curvature, Neil, Righteous Force, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good morning, Nathan.
Good morning. Good to have you all. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Nah, debunked in 2020.
No.
Black Swan.
That was quick. Why is it the people around us who are in flat Earth can't seem to comprehend the idea that we've debunked Earth curve? Black Swan. Yeah, we can summarise what we call our debunking. If the Earth was a sphere, radius 3959 miles, as claimed by Earth believers in a globe, then every distance to the horizon, claimed to block boats, buildings and the sun, could be no more than the maths they claim it is. That's 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's where they say the hill getting in the way will lie. We show that the horizon is beyond the geometric limitations of a sphere, radius 3959, by showing that the hill that's claimed to get in the way is beyond the things it's supposed to obstruct. Therefore, it's definitely not Earth curve, definitely not obstructing anything. The horizon is not Earth curve. We only have one. Their horizon, marked with an X, labelled horizon in there, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective, hijacking Earth curve calculator, is a physical limitation to your view at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Once you've debunked that and shown that it's beyond its limitations, there's no going back. That's why we call it the Black Swan. It's a Karl Popper analogy. If it's claimed that there are no black swans, all swans are white, you only need to present one black swan to prove that's incorrect. If it's claimed that the horizon's a geometric limitation, a hill getting in the way, then you only have to show once that it's not a hill getting in the way to destroy all claims of Earth being a sphere with a proof that the horizon is Earth curve. It is not. We have debunked it. Pay attention. There's plenty of people out there who've got channels broadcasting not debunking Earth curve. That's pretty sad. So if you're one of the people watching, you can influence this. You need to contact these people. You need to tell them. You need to get up to date with the Flat Earth debate. You seem incapable of debunking Earth curve. What is it? Aren't you watching? So, spread the word. Pass this show around. Share the show. Let them all know. If you want to actually debunk this claim that we're on a sphere, then there's one place, it seems, that can actually do that, and that's here. Go on, Neil. You're so keen.
I was counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I give up. They don't present the Black Swan because they think refraction answers that.
How does refraction answer a claim of physical claim of geometry getting in the way? Physical hills are claimed to block things, right? If it's refracted, it's not a hill. So that's a self-defeating rebuttal. All right, so not geometrically limiting it, not a hill blocking our view then. Refracted. All right. So that's a really strong claim from their part. You know what proves you're on a sphere? Refraction blocking boats as they go over the horizon hull first. Refraction blocking. Oh, there was me thinking it was Earth curve. There it is in your maths, marked with an X, labelled horizon. No, refraction's a self-defeating rebuttal. Because if it's refraction, it's not Earth curve. And the
They
Earth
don't get-
curve is asserted with geometry, not bent lines, tangent points.
They don't
What
get
is refraction?
In their maths, refraction 7/6R. It's a standard atmospheric value applied to inflate the size of their sphere. They depict it as light bending around at 7/6 of the radius to move an object with respect to the horizon they're trying to prove is Earth curve. Real refraction is a deviation from a straight line as you traverse a different medium, as light would do if it went from, say, air to water. When you see the example of refraction with a straw in a glass, that's Snell's law.
But that goes outside how they know it's
I
a
have an
sphere. You can't apply refraction to how you know it's a sphere. You need a measurement.
Yeah, so
That
that's
doesn't-
paradoxically, Arwinian paradox, as we labelled it when it was first identified and succinctly summarised by Arwin, which is to say that if you are claiming that there's a refraction value based on an R value, then you're going to need to acquire the R value from something that you can't see anymore. So you can't derive an R value to refract an R value that you can't measure. It's a paradox.
Hello, by the way.
Hello,
You're going to
Arwin.
need a flat plane for that.
You
No,
will need
if-
a flat
if-
plane for that.
If the horizon is refracted, then you no longer have a measured R value in order to, well, use that R value in the refraction in order to displace the horizon. And that's the paradox.
Further to that, their primary claim is that the Earth curve physical edge hill gets in the way of a boat or a building. So their claim isn't that we've got a refracted bendy line to this particular target and the target and the horizon are refracted, therefore we're proving it's Earth curve. Well, that's not the claim. Just go and look in their maths. It's marked with an X labelled horizon. It's a physical limitation to your view. National
So
Geographic will
moves.
make it clear. All those people who wanted a free membership, shout out to Godzilla. So Godzilla has gifted 5 memberships. Wrong button. There we go. So yeah, check it out. If you wanted a free membership, you have been gifted one. You just have to claim it from Godzilla37, who is... I don't know how that works actually, but you can claim it somehow, and if you're keen, you'll figure that out. So there you go. Thank you very much indeed, Godzilla.
Go get it, Kent. Go get it.
No, I need it from the host.
Oh yeah.
If okay, listen, I'm not done. If the
take it.
horizon moves and changes with the weather, then it has to be a plane, not a sphere, because it's gone beyond the geometric limitation of their Earth with a radius of 3950.
Would this be a good time to bring in what they're actually measuring and calculating, or do we want to do that at the R value?
What R value?
I mean, I could ask the question. Any evidence of the R value?
Well, if you measure the differential between two flat planes, right, eye level and sea level, and then you reify your sphere of vision and where that horizon renders based on different altitudes, you can assume the Earth's curving at a set rate based on a radius value.
What John just did was describe the hoodwink that is measuring a flat Earth and converting it into a sphere. That was very concise. That's as concise as you've done that. That was excellent. That's how the hoodwink worked mathematically. That's what they did. They took a parallel with the flat plane that you actually stand on, raised up in altitude, and calculated the difference between the two. That difference is what they'll claim the horizon does when they say it's dropping away from you 8 inches per mile squared by extrapolation of that methodology, detailed very concisely by John. I say this
John,
Yeah,
because
the R value
Go on.
only exists in the math.
the R value does only exist in the maths. It can't exist in physical reality if it's all refracted, as the rhetoric seems to be implying in the current form. Well, it's self-defeating once they apply refraction to the Earth curve edge they're trying to prove, which is the horizon in their maths. Now, quote, "We know it's refracted because of its position with respect to the horizon," is the basis of the claim. The one that Rumpus isn't allowed to come back here because he lied about it. You know, made those specific statements while scrolling past Andrew Thomas Young's diagrams of refracted horizons, right, Rumpus? That's why you're not welcome. You're a liar. That tells me one thing. You know Earth is not a sphere, don't you, Rumpus? I know it, and you know it. You know why you have to lie as well, don't you? I know it, and you know it. So anybody out there that follows Rumpus and thinks he's a great arbiter of the globe Earth rhetoric, on the contrary, he knows where his model fails, and he knows where he has to, and I'll be very explicit, lie about its inadequacies. That's somebody who
We never claimed the
knows.
horizon was geometric.
Pardon?
We never claimed the horizon was geometric.
Right.
Remember
I've always said it was refracted. Oh, did you? So refracted blocking the bottom of the Isle of Man? Lying bastard. No, they're just lies. But anyway, that makes me smile on reflection. It's a year, maybe even longer than that since we've banned Rumpus from coming back, because I don't want deceit being portrayed to my audience. That's why I took it quite personally when I was claimed to be a scammer by people like Jaren and Witsit, and having people like David Weiss be complicit in that. Well, those things are now going to turn into educational tools also. So with a bit cooler head, I went back and looked at that show, which has had considerably more than 100 views from members. Now, maybe if you're watching this and you go, so what, 100 views? Wowee. No. I can remember a time not so long ago where there was videos that I would put out and I wouldn't get 100 views full stop, let alone 100 views from members when it's not even published yet. So that video that you were all saying was great. So I went back and looked at the stats. I was like, wow, there's a lot of people watching this from the members. And I would assume repeatedly watching it because of the numbers. You know, unless every single member has watched that video. But maybe they have, I don't know. But I went back, like I say, with a cool head. I'm nearly done. I'll plug this video I've just made this morning. So I went back, found a little section, and then afterwards I could see more and more useful educational sections in it. So I trimmed out a bit about basically what I reiterated in the Earth Curve question today. Debunk Earth Curve. You know, there's a Western worldview out there there's an Earth Curve. At the moment, we've got a situation in our community. Sorry, I just chunked up a bit of spit and vomit. Anyway, in our community, we've got these people who will go around offering up alternatives to the claim of Earth Curve at the horizon. Now, that positive assertion simply needs to be refuted. That's it. So, you know, that's what needs to be done. And, you know, in that particular video, there's plenty of little chunk-outable sections that highlight inadequacies in people who are on the circuit doing a very poor job of debunking the claim we're on a sphere. I mean, some of these people go by the name globe busters. Like, aren't you going to do any globe busting? I.e. busting the claim we're on a globe? That would be with a physical sphere edge for a horizon. Bust that. Don't tell me what you think the world is, and how you think we've got incoherent dielectric acceleration, and how you think you know what the sun's doing, and how high it is, and how it's dropping, and going down, fading away. Don't tell me any of this stuff. I don't need your opinion on what the world is. Yeah? One thing I've learned from coming to Flat Earth is that I can detach myself from gurus who want to tell me what's what. I don't need you bloody gurus anymore with your stupid ideas about what you think the world is. I'm done with you. All of you. You're all absolutely pathetic because none of you can actually do what's required in this arena. And I say required because that's what it is to be a flat earther. To be able to unequivocally say that Earth is not a sphere, it's flat. That means debunking it as a sphere and proving it is flat. Something we can do here. And we do here. And I'm going to start shouting our own bloody praises. Modesty is going to go out of the window. We are the best at this. You want to debunk Earth as a sphere, you come here. Now tell everyone that's the facts of the matter. You want to go away with a strong argument where you can leave somebody absolutely annihilated in their stupid, crappy assertions that they're on a sphere, then you need to come here to get that. That's where you will get it. We won't tell you what we think the sun is, or what we think the sun's doing, or what we think the sky vacuum is. We won't be talking about dielectric acceleration and forces that will give you free energy. We're not hippies. Yeah? We're just debunking the claim we're on a sphere. And it seems that we're the only ones doing that, because all we see is alternatives offered. Now, if you want a new paradigm because you think it might not be a sphere, no, it isn't. Come here to find that out. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Negative, and I don't do nowhere but on
Yeah,
the
go
globe.
Coriolis.
That was
The
part of a
reference
plug.
Frames have been ruined.
I completely destroyed my own plug by getting over enthusiastic about moaning about people not debunking Earth curve. So I put out a video today. It's gone out. The best flat Earth debaters humiliated by scammers is the title. So the inference being that we're the ones claimed to be scammers, the ones who can rip apart the failures and useless nature of the people out on the debating circuit who can't even debunk Earth curve, yet somehow think they can tap themselves on the back of a better job being done than's done on flat Earth debate, while they simultaneously throw us all under the bus and call us scammers. Yeah, well, know this. They are useless at actually debating and debunking the claim of Earth curve. They can't do it. I'm talking Dave Weiss, Jaron, Bob Nodell, Hibbler, Whitsitt. They cannot do the job. They can't do it. It's beyond them. They are inept. We can. We've shown it time and time again. So, modesty is out of the window. I'm going to say it like it is. Hashtag #1 Jaronism show debaters. Bollocks! There is only one hashtag #1 debating team, and it's Flat Earth Debate. Why? Because we do debate and debunk Earth as a sphere. They, and pretty much anybody around us, unless they're parroting our arguments, probably badly, are not. They're just offering alternatives. Now, I'm going to trumpet my own praises. That's what I'm going to do. We are the best here, aren't we? There is no two ways about that. And that needs to be shouted from the rooftops. I used to say shouted from the rooftops, Earth is flat. But that's not good enough. You need to know why it's flat, know how to prove it's flat, and how to absolutely rip apart any claim that comes your way in regards to Earth being a sphere. You need to be able to shut it down and shut the person up on the spot. Not give them some wishy-washy vague understanding that you got from Dave Weiss or Jaron about incoherent acceleration that won't prove anything. It'll just make you look like a twat while you talk to people about flat Earth. Me and my arguments and the people who come here and offer the same will give you an arsenal of things to prove you are on a flat plane, prove that the sphere they're claiming came from the flat plane, and show you how it was done. You had it from John literally only 10 minutes ago, at the beginning of this waffle from me.
Can I offer an example? Just
Yes,
in mind.
by all means.
Okay, so I think everyone will, and when I say everyone, I'm not stereotyping because it's pretty obvious that anytime a flat earther says something in this consensus-driven society of ours and the way they've got us pegged, there's going to be kind of like a skirmish, maybe even an all-out war. Maybe you're not even talking to that guy anymore because of it. So we're in a war of words and ideas. Now, if you're in a war, and this is where I want to frame it, is you got the frontline soldiers in the war, taking the bullets overhead, all the trenches, it's raining, they don't got warmth, they're just fighting it out, and they're trying to destroy the enemy, right? So now in the back troops, okay, which is, of course, the flat earth channels that don't fight the real fight. They're playing billiards, they're drinking beer, maybe a little ping pong, and they're just saying, yeah, one day we'll get to the front, but while here we got a nice bar, it's cozy, some ladies to dance with. It's just like the movies when you see, you know, the Allies just before they go to Normandy, but in Normandy is where the fight is. And this is what I want to say, what you were saying is that if you want the arguments to take down the enemy's arguments, then this is the show. We give you the arguments. But if you want to go play ping pong, go to the other place.
Right. If you want a new guru and you want a new worldview and you want to be told, because Flat Earth hasn't taught you that you should just investigate things and primary source research and, you know, figuring these things out based on your own evidence research. No, if you're not that person and you'd rather just be told what the world is by people who will abuse your trust, then this isn't the place for you, because we're not going to give you any answers. We'll tell you how you've been deceived and hopefully give you the tools to defeat people who claim you're on a sphere. Now, in terms of what your world is, I'll just tell you now if that's what you need. It's flat. How do I know? Well, it's measured that way. That's how it's navigated. That's how we build on it. That's the world that we experience. It's the world that's been modelled and then turned into a sphere. We can show you that too. Shout out to Elvis. Elvis ain't dead. Anyone saw the ad for the masterclass from Smoking to Grass? He did a masterclass a while back, about 3 or 4 years ago. Maybe even longer now. It was maybe a year into Flat Earth. Maybe it's 2015 he last did a masterclass. But yes, I remember that one. Has he got another one? Because we all need to know how the Earth's a sphere from Neil deGrasse Tyson at a fee.
Oh, they have a lot of new people that are all very good storytellers in telling you how it's a globe. They've been building a crew for a while.
I wasn't talking about them. I was talking about the people giving you a new worldview. Oh, right. You thought the world was heliocentric, planets flying around each other. No, definitely not. Let me just tell you what the world really is. Out there, there's counter space.
We sharpened a really awesome double-edged sword, and we've only been using one side of it for quite a while. We just recently swung it back.
Yeah, that's correct.
Those more in the back.
Yeah, that's correct. Jaren, he's been finding out how sharp the other side of that sword is. Yeah, it's going to continue too, because there's plenty of footage that's got him in it, doing a terrible job of debating this subject, failing miserably to debunk anything, offering up his guru nonsense about how things work. Oh, okay. No worries. We can go through that crap with our sword that's got a very sharp edge for flat earthers, same as it has for globe earthers. Claims that are being made about this garbage, with a failure to debunk any of the globe claims, it's just going to get highlighted. No worries. I'm a scammer? Really? Well, this scammer's going to show how shite you are, Jaren. Yeah? You can find out how sharp that blade is. Because you're not doing a good job of debunking Earth as a sphere, mate. We are. We do an exceptionally good job daily. You do not. And I can show that and example that, and I will. And I have. So check out my video. It came out today.
About freaking time.
Good morning, family.
Yo, yo.
Morning. Speaking of which, any evidence of the distance to the sun?
We got angles. That's it. We
You don't
don't
need a flat
have
plane for
anything
them.
else. But you can think of the sun as being a ball of fire or whatever hovering over a disk, and that it goes away into the distance, and that's why it decreases in angular size. Sometimes. That could be your argument too.
It could be. It'd just
That's
be
not
better
an
to debunk
argument.
their
David?
claim. They've got a heliocentric sphere Earth around a sphere sun in an orbital motion based on an R value that we've also debunked. So based on the positive claim that we're a sphere moving around a sun that's at the centre, heliocentric. If this needs pointing out, that's the primary claim when it's the name of the model. Heliocentric, sun at centre. Again, you just need to debunk that. Now let me introduce you to our R value explanation. You can't get R unless you've got a physical geometric horizon. The one we debunked with the Black Swan, we explained it earlier. The one that left them with no proof of a sphere Earth. No maths to claim boats and buildings are blocked. Yeah, that's where they get their R value from. Further to that, when they got it by way of Al-Biruni's method, they measured a flat Earth to get it. Now, obviously, we're just scammers. It's not like we're disseminating the fact that you can easily verify that Al-Biruni has to have apologetics made for the fact he measured the height of the mountain off a flat plane. It's easily referenced. But we're scammers, aren't we? Now, don't get me wrong, the cutting-edge #1 debating team in the universe, that would be Jaren and crew, they didn't spot the fact that acquisition of R is required to even assert heliocentrism in the first place. They don't point it out. They just talk about how the model might work and how the sky might move, or how it wouldn't move when we all begged the question together of an R-value-based heliocentric world. No debunkings. Meanwhile, on actual #1 Flat Earth debate team, that's us, we point out that you'll need R to assume Earth's a sphere. and you get it from the horizon. From a flat Earth measurement of a height of a mountain in the case of Al-Biruni. So, given you can't get R without first measuring a flat plane, why would we be talking about heliocentric motion? That R you got from a flat plane has been superimposed onto Venus by Christian Huygens, so that you've got a scaling value for the mathematics that Kepler gave us. So then you can assert your heliocentric distance to the sun at 93 million miles. Now again, claimed to be #1 debating team, debated about how we might see the sun and how the seasons might appear in a heliocentric model that we definitely haven't got, because you'd need a geometric horizon and you'd need a sphere Earth edge to measure R, to impose on Venus, to apply Kepler's third law. You haven't got any of those things. Now what we have just done, moreover me, with the assistance of the team, is disseminate the facts of how the heliocentric model works and how the assumptions used a flat Earth to derive the R value at 3959 miles. Maybe we're scamming you with this. Or maybe we're offering you the absolute best quality, top of the range, heliocentric debunkings there are available. I tell you something for nothing. That is what we are doing. Make no mistake. So distance to the sun.
On the distance to the sun, you'll have to measure elevation angles to the sun before you insert a radial value in a heliocentric model with that radial value being debunked. But first, you're going to have to prove it's a flat Earth by measuring an angle to the sun, which might be a problem.
Dear.
You hear that? You'll need an angle to the sun. That angle. Again, #1 debating team were told by a globe Earth proponent that angles skim off curved surfaces. The geometrically illiterate like Jaren didn't pick up on that. I mean, us scammers picked up on it, Jaren. Didn't we? You, on the other hand, and Dave Weiss, agreed with him when he told him about angles skimming off curved surfaces. Even with a visual illustration and a globe model held up in the camera, Dave agreed with him. #fail. Not #1 debaters, pat yourselves on the back. #don't agree when a globe-believing idiot tells you he can get an angle skimming off a curve. Because that demonstrates to me, Dave, that you don't know what an angle is. #1 debater there, Dave. Well done. Well done. Kudos. Props. Stop going around telling people you're good at debating. Stop joining teams that call us scammers and say that they're better at us than debating. You are useless. Clearly, you don't understand how an angle is formed. You agreed with a man telling you they skim off curves. Hello? Try to keep up with the flat Earth debate or basic geometry. You don't get angles from curves. Why would someone like Dave, who's claiming to be the best debater and on the best debating team, and he's not watching us here on Flat Earth Debate, the people who give him his arguments about gas pressure next to vacuums, and balloons going up in the case of Hibbler, and clouds that he doesn't understand the strength of. Yeah? They're not watching us here. Maybe you should. Mr. Ion Extreme proves incoherent dielectric accelerative forces. A school teacher handed you your own ass, David Weiss. You still think you're better than us? Maybe tell everyone how wonderful you are and how little you watch of the person who's helping you and you're stabbing in the back. Yeah, because that gives me an opportunity, after I've been betrayed by you, to show how shite you are, how shite Jaren is, and how unbelievably callous it is to claim I'm scamming people when I offer the creme de la creme of globe Earth debunking and flat Earth proof. Something sorely lacking on all of your parts. Scammer, au contraire. The best flat Earth debater and debunker in globe Earth that there is. Lots of
That
super
was the
chats
most
coming through.
frustrating part. The guy set himself up perfectly, and they did not know how to respond. They
John?
should be watching Flat Earth Debate.
Right, they didn't spring the trap. It's a waste.
John, can you further elucidate what we've talked before, where you can get an angle from a curve or two straight lines meeting a curve? What is the difference?
You can after these super chats. Shout out to Elvis Kaforic. Thank you again, I should say, for smashing the super chat to tell other people in the chat to smash the super chats. Who says smash the super chat for the best FED. Thank you very much indeed. Also, Mike808, who just gives me money. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, Mike808. Scroll it up to the audience to see what I'm talking about. Too far. There we go. Also, shout out to Blue Ridge Ranger. I agree with Elvis. Fantastic. Also, shout out to Pin Puncher, who's super chatted to say, FED, top of the food chain. Yeah, I agree. Like I say, for this show only, modesty is going completely out the window. I will shout our own trumpet, especially as I've now got to defend the fact that we're scammers, where we pull apart nonsense. No, we're definitely not scammers. No, they're the best of the best. Yeah? And perhaps that preemptive attack on us as scammers was just so that hopefully, you could fan the flames in our direction so we wouldn't notice how shite you are at actually debunking the globe Earth, given that you're called globe busters. When presented with a claim of Earth curve, you didn't bust anything. Now I'm busting you for being useless as a flat earther, useless as a debater, and being duped by a high school teacher. Yeah? Forced into false dichotomies by a school teacher. There was about 4 of you, and he had you dancing to his tune, justifying your own crappy arguments in a false dichotomy so he didn't have to justify any of his claims. He had you dancing to his tune. It was wonderful to watch how pathetically useless you were. All of you useless twats who claim that you're #1 flat earth debaters. I assure you, you're not. Talking to you, Jaren, Dave, Hibbler, and Witsit. Yeah? I'm calling you useless. That's what I'm doing. Yeah? Seems like I'm getting quite a lot of super chats for it too. And based on my members' comments, there's plenty of people out there who recognised already what a useless bunch of twats you were when it comes to debating this subject, Mr. and Mrs. Agree to Disagree. No, we don't do that here. We rip apart claims as opposed to agree with them, like angles to curves. No, we don't agree with that, Dave, because it's fundamentally incorrect. Just shows how easily you are being swindled by globe believers. Oh, it skims off the curve surface. Yeah, I understand that. What, well, do you? No, he's wrong and you're agreeing with him. There are no curved, skimming angles. Yeah, just humiliating for us as flat earthers to have you as a representative, David. Obviously, we're going to have to point that out. I mean, not that you're going to be watching, and you're quite content to shut down any suggestion that you are watching. So, that's okay, right? Nobody's going to be telling Dave about this. So, what does it matter? He's just a teaching tool. A numpty failure of a flat earth debater, useful for us to point out where he went wrong and how you as an audience member could do better than Jaren, Hibbler, Witsit, Dave, Bob, who are all useless at debating. They don't undo their own shoelaces, let alone arguments from globe believers. We've shown it. You want to see it again? We go through it in great detail for many hours. It comes out on my second channel. 9 p.m. UK time tonight. Nathan Oakley, without any 1980 at the end of it. Just Nathan Space Oakley is the name of the channel. Go and subscribe. It's also linked in the video, the 10-minute short or 15-minute short that I trimmed out from it. But it's all of that throughout the entire video. So if you like what you see in terms of, oh, check it out, they've been presented with a globe claim. Oh, check it out, they're offering their alternative without debunking the globe claim. Oh, check it out. Nathan Oakley and team #definitely #1 debaters on the flat plane then actually take apart the claim that's been made concisely. Debate in its actual context, not being fulfilled by those Muppets. Nathan's on a roll, says Skeptic936.
Yeah,
Jamal's
no.
24. I'll just read out the super chat link. It says, Globebusters is now the modern day flat earth society, and they should be labelled as such by everyone. Absolutely. They deserve the same ridicule and disdain and bitter taste left in your mouth as visits to the flat earth society would give you. Because what they're doing is giving you a little bit of juicy information that might be correct, and then feeding you a load of lies like Cavendish. Like lies that we've taken apart concisely because they're used to claim gravity, and we take apart how they're not scientific. Shocking that Jaren would call me a scammer for taking apart science while simultaneously his compadres use Cavendish pseudoscience to tell you about counter space and incoherent You're being screwed by globebusters. They are bending you over a table and pumping their lies right up you. And you're just taking it, aren't you, audience? Yeah? Maybe you're giving them money too, right? To bend you over and forcibly shove lies into you. Because that's what they're doing. They're basically betraying the trust they've built up in you. And now it's time to feed you whatever garbage they say the world is. Not debunk the globe, not bust globes. I mean, that's long forgotten about. Punt incoherent dielectric acceleration. They should be called incoherent dielectric acceleration punters, not globe busters. Because what they do is punt their nonsense. They're punters of garbage. Because they're giving you a worldview, aren't they? They're giving you some sanctity in your need. They're exploiting your need to be told what's what. Now you found out it's not a globe, maybe from them. But now they've got you, haven't they? So they can manipulate you, they can abuse your trust by telling you what the world is, telling you what the sun does, telling you what the horizon is. I mean, you won't get that from us. What's that? You want to know what the horizon is? I don't know. I know it's not Earth curve, and I can absolutely unequivocally take a giant steaming dump on any claim that says it is. What's that? You thought the world was a sphere? Au contraire, I can prove that it isn't a sphere. Take it apart systematically before your very eyes. What's that? You need to know what it is? I don't care what you need. But there are people who will exploit you for it. They're called globebusters. They'll exploit your need to know what the world is with their fantasies of what it is. With worlds that you can't explore, counter space, free energy. They'll sell you all kinds of shite because you're in a position to be exploited. So, if you're that kind of guy and you actually like being scammed with bullshit, if you just like being scammed, and I mean, I don't know, I think in many ways some people actually like and seek out scammers to be scammed by. And those are the people subscribed to Globebusters and Jaren. They've just sought out scammers. If you're a person that's been scammed, that's accidentally opened an email and followed it to some promotion that you thought you were going to get money for and ended up losing your identity, yeah? You are their prime target. Because you're the kind of person that's easily seduced by a new guru and his new description of a world that you don't have to think about. They're doing all the thinking for you, and they damn well know it as they abuse your trust. That's what they're doing. Scamming you right before my very eyes. Now, previously, I thought, oh no, they'll come after me. It's gone beyond that. Now I'm assessing it going, hey man, for the majority, this is going to be really obvious how badly they're being scammed and bent over by globebusters now. The time has long passed. There's been enough time between people's shock and awe at Flat Earth. What is it, 7 years? Yeah, shock and aw's long worn off. All you're left with is a few numpties who possibly just like being scammed by globebusters, by Bob Nodell, by Jaren, by Dave. They actually just like being scammed by them. Well, good. You know, more power to you. You know, when you want to be debunking somebody who's claiming it's a sphere, you come back to us. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you about what you need to know about the sky. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Why would you be asking me? Why would I suddenly be the arbiter of the sky just because I can tell you how you've been lied to? Oh, what, because other people abuse that trust and do tell you what the sky is? It's a counter space, you say. All right. Yeah, go on. Off to you, guru. Yeah. You need to be exploited by those people. So go on your Todd. If you subscribe to me and you don't like me, the fear's gone now too, in case you can't tell. Good. Unsubscribe to me. Go and tell Bob how fucking wonderful he is with his counter space nonsense that he's scamming you with. Tell him how wonderful he is. Tell him how you rejoice in him being there to tell you how your world works. Yeah? As opposed to me who just tells you how it doesn't. and how you've been lied to. I mean, I'm not really offering anything that offers any comfort to flat earthers in that regard. And that's all this is, right? Pathetic flat earthers that need comforting with a new worldview from a new guru. So yeah, go and get it from Bob. And Jaren. And Dave. And Witsit. And Hibbler. And all the rest of the clowns that are selling you a new worldview. They'll sell it you in spades. Yeah?
You done?
I am done. I was going to shout out a few more super chats, but go ahead.
I was just going to say, Brian's been saying that for a while, that Globe Busters is the new Flat Earth Society. But I shared something in Master B. It's like 15 seconds. Who the real Globe Busters are?
Where's that? In Master B, I've just got, this. Hippos.
We've been likened to hippos before.
So it's more like globe munchers.
Just picture the pumpkin as a globe.
Well, I want to get back to the word busters, because in the Urban Dictionary, busters is described as like someone who's a punk or less than. So if you think of them as a punk for the globe, that kind of fits.
MT Kulnut, I hope I'm saying your name right. He's definitely new, as he's basically saying it in the super chat. Says, let's just scroll back down so the audience can see. I just found this channel. Great stuff. Thank you. Oh, well, it's an absolute pleasure. Unless you're expecting me to tell you what the world is. If you're expecting me to give you things like counter space for the sky, I'm sorry, I can't offer you those things. There are some scammers who'll give it you over at Globebusters, though. Knock yourself out, mate. But thank you for the super chat.
I can talk about counter space. I'm just not going to reify it into anything beyond a concept.
Can we go to the question I posed to John about angles coming to a curve or from a curve?
Yes, that was where I started. Man, that's good memory. Well,
Can we go to my video?
I knew there was something to get back on track with, 10th.
Yeah, there's two images in Master D. I don't know if John could see it, but I'd like for him to comment. If not, I'll... You see that, John?
Are you talking about angles outside a circle?
Yeah, when it's the first one, when angles and circles are combined, there are only three places the vertex can be. Can you comment?
Right. This is talking about angles to a curve, right?
Yeah. Well, this and the next one as well. So the next one is angles outside of a circle, if you look at that one. And then this one is if you're going to use the circle where the vertex could only be.
Maybe maybe you'll have to lead him a bit more, 10th. He's a bit hesitant.
Yeah. All right. So we know that in celestial navigation, you need an elevation angle and you need a baseline for that. So it can never be an angle from a curved baseline because you can't get it. Okay. So that settles that. But then if you're going to use, because they use circles to reify as a sphere, and then when you say, okay, when angles and circles are combined, okay, this is good. There are only three places the vertex can be. And the first one is in. So somewhere in the circle, and then they cross, and there's the vertex, as you can see. The arc, add arcs, and divide by 2. 2, on a circle. So now it's on a circle, but now you're going interior, and you divide the arc by 2. Then the third one is outside the circle, subtract the arcs, divide by 2. So the vertex is either in the circle, which is not celestial navigation. And the second one, it's on the circle, but the angle is inside the circle, not above for a sun or a star. So that doesn't fit. And outside. So now if you go to the second slide, angles outside the circle is an outside angle theorem, a measure of an angle formed by two secants, two tangents, or a secant and a tangent from a point outside the circle is half the difference of the measures of the intercepted arcs. So in navigation, you're on the plane getting an elevation angle, which requires a baseline, and it works if you're doing it from a plane, but it can never work from a curved baseline.
Perfect.
Right. And then they try to postulate it as you're actually getting it from eye level pulling it from a tangent point, they draw to the horizon, which is at surface level, but we won't talk about 90. But there's a problem with that within the celestial sphere model, because then if they do claim that, they're having to claim a point of tangency at 3 points, at their feet and at the horizon, and you can't have a line intersect a circle at 3 points, a straight line.
Shout out to Elvis, third time's a charm. He says, does that mean they are scammers? Thank you for
Play
the
the
super chat.
hippos.
Say again, Neil. Thank you for the super chat, Elvis. Wow, just had a humongo super chat from James Mays. He says, it's about time you expose Dave and his mushgana. Thanks. What's that mean? Mushgana.
Mashugana.
Mushgana? What's mushgana?
It's Jewish. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the support.
Jewish for stuff like nonsense, silliness, craziness, or garbage.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you very, very much for the super chat. Massive super chat. Really appreciate it.
Can I comment on your? Go on, Chuck.
I just wanted to mention how you're going off on like them trying to tell the people or their audiences how the world works and what it is and give their ideas, which when I think about it, sounds kind of funny to me because particularly one of them likes to say a phrase that goes something like falsification is independent of replacement, yet it seems like now they're trying to do that very thing, replacement. And it's kind of funny.
Yeah, they're offering
Ironic.
alternatives. That's all they're doing, offering alternatives where they should be debunking claims.
Yes, sir.
I went into, like this. I went into 24/7 last night. And shout out to, I got to get checked in with my new account on Discord. Shout out to Heratosthenes. I spoke out of it, but I had a good chat. I was listening for quite a while. And then Miggy spotted me. And I ended up rambling for ages. But the point I wanted to make then was it was just very heartwarming to hear how they dealt with ballers, which was pretty much using those housekeeping topics and keeping this straight guy who was straying all over the place on track. So the message is out there, mate. It's being used effectively by people, if not by the bigger channels.
Oh, and definite shout out to Big Mickey. Like he's one of those that's maybe not on this panel, but he holds up to the standards that we do, and it's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah.
shout out to Mick.
Not just him, loads of the guys in there, just holding the ball calmly and just using these techniques. It's brilliant.
And by techniques, we mean specifically the arguments that we lay down daily in the housekeeping questions. Now, admittedly, for the last probably 3 straight weeks, we have focused every day on evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve. It just seems to be we get caught up on the flat plane that we need for that. But there we go. Typically, not in the last 3 weeks, we will cover these questions in detail. In other words, they're overly crafted in every single instance. There isn't a single housekeeping question. There's one that's in development even at the moment. It's a semi-official housekeeping question that comes from John in regards to our references to A Few Good Men when we're talking about why would it be necessary to transfer Santiago off the base. Well, that's in reference to why is it necessary to apply a transformative equation to make a sphere if the Earth's already a sphere. Now, that will eventually turn into a question that's summarized and asked on a daily basis. Not within the last 3 weeks.
I can answer that. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Can I just do one more shout out before you do, though?
Okay.
Ask Dad Anything says, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Indeed. Thank you very much for the super chat.
That's the perfect one.
Well, I've been in fear because people who are bigger than you in a small pond can easily annihilate you. Well, that fear over time has dissolved. It's like, I'm sure I gave it don't forget what you're saying, Brian, don't lose your point. I remember describing it as like getting stung by a bee for the first time. And if you imagine somebody who eventually becomes a beekeeper, that first sting, you knew about it, right? But over time, the sting is less of a shock, yeah, and more of an irritation after time, right? Well, the same thing applies to getting attacked by people in Flat Earth, by being hassled by their compadres like Dave Weiss, telling me that I need to take down videos where I'm demonstrably correct about the scams being pulled by globebusters and their use of scientific vernacular when claiming bullshit that isn't science. Now, me being hassled about this because people like Bob are constantly pouring poison into the well about me leads to me being hassled over, what, Bob being wrong and scamming people with science? I did it in the nicest possible way in the video that I was being hassled about. Toe tagging Bob for his lies and deceit about science. I'm going to stand by every damn word of it. In fact, I'm going to shout it from the hilltops. That bloody video that Dave Weiss was harassing me about, taking down because Bob doesn't like being toe tagged when he bullshits and scams his audience. That video is absolutely true, every last word of it. Go and listen to the objections I'm getting from Dave Weiss about Bob's objection to being exposed by me for his fraud, his use of science where he doesn't have any. Oh, now I'm going to shout it from the hilltops. That's how we've been duped. Now Bob's doing to all of you. The person who asked from the super chat, does that mean they're scammers? Yes. We point out how science has been used to claim empirical proof of a sphere Earth. Bob, no doubt from Scambusters, has used the exact same scam. He's saying he's got science. Now Whitsit's at it. Talking about Cavendish, of all things. Proving his scam science for his scam belief that he's feeding to the vulnerable, to the impressionable, to the people who are in need of a guru because they've just had their worldview shaken at the core. So what do you get? You get scammy, slimy bastards like Bob and Whitsit and Jaren sloping in with their scammy, shitty claims. Well, I'm not going to be scared that it might affect my career in YouTube. It already has. So who gives a shit? I am poor, I always was. That's the life of a YouTuber in Flat Earth. Tough, I'll deal with it. But the fact remains, they are scamming you. They're scamming you with ether. They're scamming you with counter space. They're scamming you with science. Now I'll be damned if I can spend 2 to 3 years disseminating precisely how the globe has conned you into belief that you're on a sphere with lies of science. Saying you've got basically empiricism when you say I've got some experiments. And Bob, that's what Bob's doing. Experiments. No, he has not. And this is the thing I'm being hassled by Dave Weiss. I mean, the reason I'm bringing this up is because is Dave Weiss going to Jaren and say, hey man, it's not exactly nice calling out your fellow flat earther as a scammer for accurately describing how scammers on the globe use science to con you? Oh, no, of course he's not. Now, much better to tell his audience he's not watching me ever. Be complicit in the scam claims from Jaren, because on the same show, Dave's going to sit by while Whitsit talks about the science of Cavendish, you scammers. That's right. They are scamming you. They're lying to you. Whitsit knows what science is too, and he knows why Cavendish isn't science, but he's punting it to you. He's fucking scamming you. Like I say, if you're one of those people that just likes being scammed, do it. Go subscribe to Globebusters. If you hate being scammed and you feel outraged at the fact that they're lying to you with science like you were lied to with science about the globe, just go and unsubscribe from them immediately. You'll save yourself the heartbreak of eventually finding out how badly they're conning you in some other area. Because that's what they're doing. They're conning you, scamming you. And they've had to project that onto me for one specific reason. Jaren, you can just go back and look at any of the clips I've published about what he specifically said when he called me a scammer, because of how I detail science. Now, tonight, you'll hear a teacher, claiming to be some sort of professor, rip Jaren, Hibbler, Whitsitt, Dave Weiss, all a new asshole, basically, with that con. He pulled the wool over their eyes with science. And we take it apart piece by piece. Where they did not. Where they got scammed by him. There's no honour amongst thieves, and these people are as bad as the globe believer they were debating. He's scamming you with gravity. They're scamming you with a downward bias. It's all a massive scam. So yeah, you want to know if you're being scammed? I'm telling you. I'm not going to live in fear of Jaren anymore, or bloody Dave Weiss and Bob Nodell, and the power they yield in Flat Earth. Maybe they are just Flat Earth Society 2.0. All I know is I'm being called a scammer for accurately calling out scams from the globe and scams from Globebusters. Now, that might cost me some subs. By the looks of the current super chats that are currently rolling in, it definitely isn't. People want this. They want me to expose Dave Weiss, Jaren, Bob, the Globebusters, Whitsitt, Hibbler, all of these con artists, when they tell you about downward bias that we've spent years debunking, and tell you Cavendish proved it with science. My God. If you haven't figured it out already, yeah, I'm just here to break the news that everyone around you already knew. Don't be embarrassed that you were too stupid to realise you were being conned by Globebusters. Yeah? But trust me, everyone around you already knew it. The moment they started saying Cavendish was science. If that didn't set alarm bells off, I don't know what will. And if it hasn't, with me laying it out in black and white right now, with people going, really, they're scammers? Yeah. Scamming you with science. Yeah? And this is the same shit I was hassled to take down. Yeah? They've got people on the sidelines like Dave Weiss trying to censor the scientific scams of Globebusters. He's a PR for the scammers. Right? Because it's not being returned in kind when they call me a scammer, is it? They're not offering any proof and offering any coherent explanations for how, in the most gentle way, I can explain that Bob's lying through his back teeth and scamming you with science to his face. So he knows that I'm pointing it out to him. No, that pretty much ended my channel for a time. That caused me no end of heartache. Like I say, that's why I used to, until now, live in fear. But the double-edged sword's just slicing a few more Globe Earther heads while we watch a few Flat Earther heads tumble in the wayside. And that'll be Jaren, Globebusters, Hibbler, all of these people who are punting you a new worldview. Just taking advantage of it, that's all they're doing. But like I say, knock yourselves out. You are that guy. You love being scammed. Go and subscribe today. Or if not, do the other thing. Here, we'll definitely give you the best. You have my personal guarantee. Not from a scammer that Jaren's portraying. From someone who can provably show you how Earth is flat. Can provably demonstrate how they've lied about a sphere and how it is undone, aka debunked. That is not something they will ever offer you. They may ask you for money. They may ask you to buy their app. They may tell you what the sky is and how the sun works. Because you're vulnerable. You're susceptible to being scammed. Now, some off-the-cuff remark that I'm a scammer because I talk about science or something might have done a little bit of damage, but I hope this ruins all of them because they don't deserve to have a channel. QE is correct when he asserted that. They are scamming you, and you should unsubscribe if you're subscribed to me, and I value you. I value you as channel members. I value you as audience members. I thank you after every single show, and I mean it when I say it. Now, because of that gratitude I have for you as an audience member, I'm telling you for your own good that you're better off not being subscribed to Jarenism, to David Weiss, to the Flat Earth Sun and Moon Zodiac Clock, who I've asked to have my material removed from, to Globebusters, to any of these scammers. Because they are provably scamming you. Cavendish isn't science.
Woo!
I
That was
just
quite
like
a
to
rant.
yeah, very good.
Well
though.
said, though.
I just said to the
Well
lads
said, man.
yesterday, just a side note from what I was going to talk about, but I said to them in the after show that when I was listening the other night to the after show from 2 days ago, when you heard Dave saying he doesn't watch you and all these other things, and the four of them not being able to deal with one baller and they're talking a load of rubbish. What I had in my head, the analogy I had in my head straight away when I heard you get angry and saying you had enough of it now, you're done with Dave, you're done with all of them, was the end of Braveheart where he screams freedom. And now you're today talking about being free of them. That's what I heard. That's exactly what I heard, because it's like they just have you over a barrel for too long.
Right. And like I say, I'm not going to potentially carry this on indefinitely. I'm not going to continue to throw modesty to the wind. But in this instance, I've got to plug myself. I've lost a load of viewers. I've lost a load of revenue. And therefore, I'm going to tell you how damn good I am and why you should be subscribed to me. And the people who are telling you shouldn't, I'm going to explain and detail and evidence how and why they are scamming you, with examples of them scamming you, with demonstrations of their lies and their scams. That's what I'll do. And when I'm claimed to be a scammer...
Can I say something? I got a good example. Remember the Beyond the Curve documentary on Netflix?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that thing is now staring us even more in the face of recent situations.
Indeed. Indeed.
I'd like to add the best support that you could have ever had came from Dave Weiss. He entrusted you with 3 Bitcoins for you to destroy any globe argument, or he would lose 3 Bitcoins. That's where he was at one point. He didn't entrust that to any of his friends over there, but you. And then he stabs you in the back.
Indeed. But if you want to hear more importantly than my personal affront to Dave stabbing me in the back, throwing me under the bus, and being complicit with people claiming I'm a scammer because I accurately and correctly detail how the scientific method takes apart his scamming compadre, then you need to actually watch the show where we take apart their claims that they failed to address from Globe Earth Believer, who claimed to be a professor, and their claims that they offered up in response rather than rebuttal, which we also take apart. So if you're not already subscribed, check out Nathan Oakley channel, and that's going to go out on air at about 9 p.m. tonight if you're in the UK. And yeah, be here or be sphere for Flat Earth Debate. I think it's 1763. I'll have to double check that. In any event, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams for this show, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, a massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. Once again, if you are watching this on either Premiering stream, stay tuned. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!